Holiday shopping season is well underway, but with plenty of economic headwinds, are consumers opening their wallets and which retailers could stand to benefit? Joining us now to discuss is Oliver Chen, Managing Director for Equity Research with TD Cowen. And for full disclosure on the companies covered by TD Cowen, a division of TD Securities, please see the link to the website at the end of this video. Okay, holiday shopping season underway. For some people, I'm always a laggard. I'm going to get started this weekend, I think. Wondering, how is it going so far? We've seen some weak consumer confidence numbers. Is that translating to lower sales?
Greg, what we see happening is a fundamentally sound consumer with upside, actually. So we're quite optimistic in what we're seeing with fundamentals. However, as you mentioned, sentiment has been weak to mixed. That being said, the consumer has money in their pocket, over $1 trillion. Unemployment is at a low level, and they're spending, but they're spending selectively. I would also say bifurcation is a topic, meaning that the high income is very strong, in part because of the wealth effect in the S&P 500 performance, but more pressure in the low and middle. And that customer is trying to stretch their dollar as well as save. And as we think about holiday, both have been happening. We have shoppers such as Greg that may shop just in time, really needing this gift. But plenty of people have been shopping earlier, too.
Yeah, I don't leave it till the 24th anymore. I have done that, wander through the mall with that panic look on my face, and guess what? There's tons of other men with that panic look on their face on the 24th as well. You mentioned bifurcation there. Is that what's sort of been holding retail up, even over the last several years? Because we keep thinking, oh, the consumer's got a weekend at some point, but there are people with money.
Yeah, Greg, we've seen this evolution of bifurcation, but the bottom line is it's been a true theme for the past 5 years that we've been following. That being said, it somewhat has intensified in terms of pressure at the low and middle, in part for a few reasons: inflation of energy cost, healthcare, as well as higher interest rates. That's pressured the low and middle as well. So as we look ahead, retailers need to do a little bit of everything. They need to execute to Greg wanting things last minute. They need to execute to delivery. They also need to execute the bifurcation. And as we talk about bifurcation, it's catering to the high-end customer as well as the middle and low. Walmart does a good job here. Specifically, they're getting higher household income customers. Think about curbside pickup. Think about the marketplace model online. Think about the convenience of delivery at Walmart. At the same time, Walmart's an everyday low price leader. Save money, live better is a big theme here. I grew up in Natchitoches, Louisiana, going to the Supercenter, Walmart, and their grocery business is outstanding with outstanding value. Costco is another idea that we like for these reasons, including a higher income customer, a pay to shop model, a wholesale model, but you'll never forget that Costco offers you superior value and quality and newness across their product assortment.
When did that start to happen? You name Walmart, you name Costco, and I think there would have been a time, only a couple years back, we would have thought that would have been the lower income tier, but you're saying more affluent people are seeking out these places.
Yeah, what's really happened with this retail revolution as we think about pandemic and the future of retail is delivery, curbside pickup. How do we compete against Amazon? And retail's transformed with AI and robotics. We followed this 5 years ago with fulfillment systems that add lots of convenience. You layer in young customers and a real mobile-centric customer, and the future of retail is very phygital, meaning stores meets digital. That's a theme that's been intensifying, I'd say, with new generations and everybody of all ages just loving convenience, loving value. Costco's a little bit of a different model in that it's a membership model. A lot of the things that made Costco great in 1980 are still true today, specifically just very excellent sourcing across a slim number of products. And also Costco is a different business model in that it's all about the membership fee income stream, which has been very consistent. The Walmart story involves what TD Cowen calls the retail nexus. I'm also a professor at Columbia Business School. And as we think about the future of retail, there are three things that are important to us: the marketplace model in terms of buying from third-party sellers online, digital advertising, a second thing, and then AI. So you have a tech component at Walmart as well.
Now, there was a time not long ago, too, that athleisure was all the rage and only old guys like me wore jeans. Now, suddenly, I think I'm coming back into fashion. You say Levi is a name that would be worth watching?
Yeah, Greg, it's all about actually comfort. Guys love comfort. We're pretty loyal and we can sweat, and I was definitely shiny in my face, and we cover beauty too. So athleisure, to be honest, the Canadians really helped pioneer this with another stock a colleague covered, but Lululemon. Think about what's happening there, and we also like Canada Goose, but a lot of things are working. I would say athleisure has a place in everyone's heart, and will be a structural growing category. Four-way stretch, anti-stink, thinking about leggings and what's happening there, and versatile dressing at the same time. We're at classics with the twist and preppiness. I'm in a double-breasted blazer here. The What we like about Levi's, though, it's actually a nice denim cycle right now, and some people call that the Canadian tuxedo, right? Denim is a classic piece, and wide leg, lower cut rises are big. And Levi's is a premium denim leader. They're going more direct to consumer, meaning they're opening more stores globally. And they're also doing more online, and their direct to consumer penetration will go from the low 40s to the 50 plus. But that stepping back, it's an iconic leader in a great category that's growing as well.
Yeah, I may or may not be wearing a pair of jeans hiding under this desk right now. It's a Friday. What about the outlook for 2026? Once we get past the all-important holiday season, how's the consumer going to hold up? What's your general view of the retail space?
We are enthusiastic about the consumer. Recently, in our published research, we raised our outlook for holiday to plus 4 to 5%. That's a very good number relative to the volatility we've been seeing, and also as we look across other estimates. So we're optimistic. The consumer has money to spend, but that being said, it's a stock pickers market in that there are share winners and losers. More thematically, scale matters. So Walmart's e-commerce business is just turning profitable, and it's very large. Scale matters, executing to value matters for the consumer. And then there's a lot of things we're watching, Greg, specifically what happens with interest rates. Also, there's a lot of confusion with the consumer. Why is consumer sentiment so weak and volatile, yet consumers are still spending? So there's plenty of mysteries with the consumer. That being said, the consumer has money to spend and is spending, but you really have to own stocks and ideas that execute on different promises to gain share in this environment, including a big future of artificial intelligence. AI will play a big role in terms of inventory management, fraud detection, ethics, privacy. Owning customer loyalty data is going to be important. We'll watch that evolve. There's a need to balance privacy regulation against innovation, and that's a balance that the whole world is going to face, as well as questions, regulatory questions and ethical questions about what role artificial intelligence should play in equity and fairness as well.